Welcome back to Momonomics. Today we're going to do slow cooker pork that I'm going to show you how to turn into 3 or 4 different meals based on one slow cook. You can also feel free to do this in your Instant Pot, your electric slow cooker, any brand pressure cooker. I'll give you the instructions for that later as well. This one, I'm going to use the crock pot today because of the way my schedule is running and what time we're going to eat versus what time I need to leave the house. So the first step is to use a slow cooker liner, because really, who wants to scrub their slow cooker? And this recipe couldn't be easier. Slow cooker liner. And I have a 6 or 7 quart slow cooker here. That's the first step. Difficult, right? I have here what looks like 4 pounds of country style pork ribs, boneless ribs that are pork. You could also use pork shoulder. You could also use a really fatty pork chop. Or my mom uses pork loin. I think that comes out a little bit drier, and I prefer this one, but if you want to be a little healthier, knock yourself out. Next step, difficult, right? You can arrange them in there a little bit better. You can cut them into chunks if you want. If it's not really necessary, they're going to fall apart no matter what you do. Okay, the next step, this is Hawaiian red salt. So if you're going the Kahlua pork route, this is particularly important. If you just want pulled pork for tacos or sandwiches, this isn't critical, but it is very tasty. And I'm going to put in, I don't know, probably a good tablespoon of it. If not a little bit more, because really there's very few ingredients in this. And you can always add more salt later if you don't think it has enough salt. But a tablespoon's about what I put in. And then this is liquid smoke. And I'm going to put in, I don't know, a couple dashes, 4 or 5 dashes of that. And that's it. I'm going to put the lid on this. You don't need to add any liquid. I'm going to put this on low for about 8 hours, or until whoever gets home first can turn it to warm. If you have the kind that is programmable, set it for 8 hours on low. If you want it on high, I do 4 hours on high. In the Instant Pot or the electric pressure cooker, I did it for 2 hours on high at 15 psi with a natural release. It comes out fantastic. It doesn't matter what you do. It's really hard to screw this up. And when it's finished, we'll come back and I will show you what to do with it when you're finished. Okay? Thanks! Welcome back again, and as promised, today we're going to do chicken cutlets, and we're going to do them both unbreaded and breaded. This first video will be prepping the chicken, separating it into the 2 types of cutlets, and then determining which ones to bread, which ones not to bread, and how I package the unbreaded ones. Then in the second phase of this, I'll show you how to bread the chicken cutlets, and then how to package the breaded ones for freezing. Okay, let's get started. So I have an obscene amount of chicken here. I have 2 of these actually, because we go through these so fast in my house that I can't keep them made up. And generally I do 1 package, but today we're going to do 2. And you're not going to have to watch me do all of these. I'm just going to get a couple done and show you how I do it. Then I'll do the rest and then I'll come back and we'll go from there. So what I have here are very, very large chicken breasts. Okay? I'm going to throw this down on the cutting board and adjust the camera. So that you can see the cutting board and not my face. Okay. So, what we have, the chicken breast, and these little scraggly bits, I'm going to cut them off because I don't like them, and this one actually has a little bone fragment. So I'm just going to take my knife and just rip it off. And if you want to save the little scraggly bits to make stock with, I typically have a pretty large, oh, this one's got a wishbone in it too. I typically have a pretty large freezer bag, a 2-gallon freezer bag, full of bones of rotisserie chickens and things like that, that I keep going for when I want to make stock. And so I'm just cutting, this is the tendon, I'm just cutting it off. This part's a little bit unattractive, so I'm just trimming it away. Okay, and so what I have left here is a fairly decent looking chicken breast. And what I'm going to do is kind of fluff it up a little bit. I'm going to lay my hand on it and take my knife sideways and run through it horizontally to make the cutlet. And I just open it up like a book and gently slide my knife through. Sharp knives are helpful. Dull knives are dangerous. And now we have 2 chicken portions, okay? And this one, from the bottom of the chicken, it's not ugly, but it's not particularly attractive. And this is the side that we're going to bread, okay? And I want you to set those aside in a giant pile, and we'll make those later. This is the attractive cutlet that we're going to freeze in between sheets of wax paper so that you can take these out, and these will cook in 10 minutes in a skillet, 10 minutes on the grill, really fast. And then you'll have these ready to go. You can pop a couple out in the morning, they'll sit in the fridge, they'll thaw. You can take them partially frozen directly into the pan and cook them. So fast, so easy, okay? So that's the 2 stages of chicken cutletting. I'm going to pause the video and do several more so that I have a stack of them to show you how I package them. Okay, so what I have now is a large pile of chicken and a small chicken avalanche over here. Large pile of chicken, okay? And it's divided into 2 piles. The breading pile, which is this pile, and the pack 'em up cutlet pile. And then the extra chicken scraps that I had. I got my big old bag of chicken scraps. I'm just going to throw those in there. Let's see if I missed any more. Throw those in there. I'm going to freeze this, and then when I'm ready to make chicken stock, I will have it. It goes back there. So this, I'm going to keep one clean hand and one dirty hand. And I'm going to start with wax paper, okay? And I'm going to take a section of it. Okay, I'm going to turn this so you can see. Okay. I have the wax paper, and I'm going to take one piece of chicken, and I'm going to lay it like this. And then I'm going to fold the wax paper over the chicken breast twice, okay? So like this. Alright, and then the next chicken breast, I'm going to point in the opposite direction, and then I'm just going to keep going like this. The 2 layers of wax paper help them come apart when they're frozen a little easier. And then you can cut them apart to take however many you want out of the freezer. Just back and forth, until I run out of wax paper, or until I get, until I get a stack that I think will fit neatly into a Ziploc bag. In this particular case, I've run out of wax paper. So I have my zippy bag. I'm going to open it up, take the entire stack, put it down, and make sure that you turn it like this so that you can fit as many as possible into the Ziploc bag. We may be able to get as many as 3 packages, but sometimes I can just get 2. It depends on the size of the chicken breast. I'm going to set this aside, open up a new thing of wax paper, take out another, I don't know, that much, and keep going. So, chicken breast, fold, the other direction, chicken breast, fold, again, back, and fourth. And some of these are going to be bigger than others, and that's great if you have kids, because, you know, the kids aren't going to eat a giant half chicken breast by themselves. Okay, so we have another packet. And I think we got about 5 in this one, and sometimes that's about right for a family of 4 or 5, or if you're really hungry, sometimes it's the right amount for a family of 3, which is us. So, whoops, chicken, I will wash all of this when I'm done. Probably with bleach. And I'm just going to keep going. Back. And forth. Back. And forth. And I will tell you that you can also buy chicken breasts from your butcher done this way. They're quite a bit more costly. But if that makes your life easier, nobody's going to judge you. Whoops, that is a bottom, so we're done. Whoop, there's one. I got mixed up a little bit. There's that one, and we're just going to put, again, the whole thing into the bag. And it looks like I'm going to get everything into one bag. Let's see if I can get it zipped. Make sure you date and label your bags. My husband makes fun of me because occasionally I will not label things, and then I will think I'm thawing out one thing, and I will have something else entirely. Happened last week. Okay, so you got it all zipped up. One bag, and I think this will be at least 3 dinners for us, if not more, which is great. I had about 14 pounds of chicken total here. And I should be able to get lots of dinners out of it. So, I probably trimmed off a good pound. What did I do with my fish cloth? Yeah, get a new one. Okay. I'm going to stop the video, and then I'm going to make a new video with how I bread the other half of the chicken. Okay, now we're ready to do the 3-step breading for the chicken cutlets, the bottom side of the cutlet that's not so pretty. I like to use paper plates. I use 3 of them. We have a 3-step breading, so we'll have an egg wash, dry flour, and panko breadcrumbs. You can buy the panko breadcrumbs at pretty much any supermarket nowadays in the Asian section. I buy whatever I can find, whatever's cheaper. Today we're using these. So what I'm going to do, the panko don't need any doctoring. I'm just going to open the package and dump them into my paper plate after I cut them open. Okay. So this is the 3rd step in the breading process. So I'm just opening them, pouring a nice healthy layer in a paper plate. Keep the rest of the package handy. We're going to go through it. Hopefully we don't need more than 1 package today. The 2nd step is the egg step. Let me grab the eggs out of the fridge. And just from experience, I'm going to keep them out, but I'm going to start with 3 eggs. I assume you know how to crack eggs, and I don't need to tell you that. There's 1. There's 2. If you want to crack them individually and make sure that they're fresh and that they're not rotten, knock yourself out. And 3. Wash your hands. Now I do add a little bit of water to the eggs. And I'm just going to keep a cup of water close. I know I'm going to need more, probably more eggs than this, but I'll probably put, I don't know, a 1/4 cup of water in with those eggs. It just stretches the eggs a little bit. And then I'll just take a fork, poke the yolks, and then kind of scramble them up. Okay? And the other thing that I add to the eggs that I'll talk about while I'm scrambling is you'll need to add some seasoning. You can do salt and pepper, you can do really whatever you want. There's no rules here, there's no kitchen police. No one's going to stop you if you don't want to do this. Bare minimum salt and pepper. I'm lazy, and so I take a giant container like this of seasoned salt. I take out about a third of it, and I fill that back up with pepper, and then I shake them to combine them. And then I have pretty much my own all-purpose seasoning that's ready to go. I don't have to mess with the pepper grinder. Speeds me up. Sometimes I can't get the lid open. So I'm going to put this in the eggs as their seasoning. I'll also put it in the flour, if it wants to come out of here. A good amount, probably a good teaspoon in the eggs, because that's a lot of eggs. And that's both the salt and the pepper and all of the seasonings. You can add cayenne if you like it spicy. It's up to you. I try to keep these kind of neutral seasoning-wise when I start, because I'm going to go lots of different directions with them once they're finished. You know, we may have Italian, we may have Asian. I never know, and so I don't want to commit to something like Creole seasoning or Greek seasoning at the outset. I can always add it later if I feel like I need it. Third plate is flour, and again, just that's probably a cup of flour, and I'll show you in just a second what these all look like. And then again, I'm going to add a generous, maybe if I can get this thing to work today, a generous amount. This one probably 2 teaspoons to the flour, because flour has no flavor, and it needs all the help that it can get. And so I'm going to fork the seasoning in, kind of just sift it through it. And you can taste the flour to make sure that it's seasoned to your liking. I can tell just by looking at the color of it that I'm going to like it. So we have a 3-step breading. I'm going to show you, and then I'll show you how to I'll show you how to actually do the breading. Let me get the flour out of here so I have a little bit more room. Okay. So here we go. Down toward the breading. Let me adjust so you can see all 3 plates. Okay, so this is the panko, this is the egg wash, and this is the flour. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to take our chicken cutlet. I'm going to use forks to help me a little bit. We're going to take, oops, I found a press one. Oh, I had a chicken avalanche. Oh, mixed up. I don't know what's what. I should have had more top parts than that. Well, I'll just go through them as I'm pulling them apart and make sure that they're the piece I want. So I've got a less attractive chicken bottom, and what we're going to do is we're just going to put it in the flour, push it down a little bit, pick it up, flip it over, and that's all you want. You just want a light coating of flour so the egg has something to stick to. Okay, because really the panko is where the action is. And then we're going to go into the egg, gently, gently. I'm going to switch forks now, pick up the egg fork, flip the chicken over in the egg, and again, the water helps keep the egg from getting too thick, so it streams off, because you really just want it wet. If you have kids with food allergies that can't do the egg, Bob's Red Mill makes an excellent soy-based egg replacer that's great for breading, which when Elizabeth was younger and she had her allergies, we used all the time. This breading process works great on fish, chicken, pork chops, whatever. So at the end, what we have is a very nicely breaded panko chicken cutlet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a plate, and I'm going to do a whole bunch of these. I'm going to put these on a plate, and then when I'm finished, we'll package them in the exact same way that we package the unbreaded chicken cutlets, and then we'll talk about ways to use this. Okay? Okie doke. I have all of the chicken cutlets breaded, and I have quite a mountain going, so now I'm going to bring them over, and I'm going to show you how we package those, which is exactly the same way that we package the unbreaded ones, but I do try to put less into a bag, just because of the breading, and I like to give them a little bit of space. So here we go. Giant chicken mountain. Zippy bag. And I grab my wax paper. And again, we want enough to have maybe 4 or 5 of these in a stack. We don't want too many. I'm going to point you down at the countertop. Okay, so again, wax paper. And I have a chicken cutlet pile, so I'm going to grab a chicken cutlet and lay it down. There. And again, fold it double. Reverse the direction of the second chicken just to balance it. Fold it. And they freeze like this. Okay, I don't recommend buying chicken that's already been frozen, thawing it, doing this to it, and then freezing it again. You'll get some texture issues with that are going to be somewhat untasty. We've got about 4 in this stack, and that's about the right amount for that stack of wax paper. Again, I'm going to open up my zippy bag. Because I've kept them all toward the middle, this will fit fine in here, even though the wax paper will get a little smushed. The chickens will be just dandy. Okay, so there's one pile. Set this aside. Grab another string of wax paper. And when I'm done here, I'm going to take all of these down and put them in my freezer, where they will wait patiently for me to come and get them. And then after I'm finished putting them away, I will have another video in a couple of days probably, where I cook them, and then we talk about the 900 different things you can do with these chicken cutlets, both the unbreaded and the breaded. I am confident when I say that these are going to be a family favorite. Now, if you have the children who are of the chicken nugget persuasion, if you have a knife, cut these bad boys into chicken nuggets. That's all they are. They're breaded. You just either put a shallow layer of oil in a pan, you know, quick fry them for a few minutes, you know, saute them in a pan, spray them with baking spray, throw them in the oven for about 10 minutes on 375. No problem. There's a fish dish at a local restaurant that I really like that's done like this, and then they grill it with the breading on it. You could try that. I've never done that. Quite frankly, these go so fast at our house, I haven't had to find new uses for them. I have more trouble keeping them stocked. But you could go Parmesan with these. You could go, you could make a little arugula salad, throw them on top. You could, my favorite way is I take these and I make a bag of the Ore-Ida microwave mashed potatoes that, you know, they steam in the bag, and then you add butter and milk and mash them yourself. It's real mashed potatoes, which I like. And then I make a pack of gravy, you know, chicken gravy out of a package, and a vegetable or a salad. Such a hit in my house. When we have guests over, if I have enough of these, I'll whip that out. They think I'm a genius. You know, and they think you put all this hard work into, you know, making them fried chicken. When in reality, you know, I've spent maybe an hour on this total. And I'm going to have probably 5 breaded chicken meals, and probably probably the same amount, 5 unbreaded chicken meals. And in a later video, I'll get into some of the other ideas for the unbreaded chicken, but you are just going to love these. Any kind of sauce, you can serve them with, you know, pasta. The Parmesan idea is really popular. I'm not a huge fan of chicken parm. I know, there's something wrong with me. But the chicken cutlets without breading, I mean, you can use them anywhere you'd use a normal chicken breast. Okay, so that's all the breaded ones packed up. Again, label, date, so you know what you have, so you don't think you're making pork chops when you've got chicken, or vice versa. And then the next videos that I put up when the pork is done from this morning will be how to turn the pork into other dishes, and then we will come back and circle back around to do how to cook these chicken cutlets live, and then how to turn them into several different other meals. Okay? Thanks for watching. See you next time.